Fantasy sports coaches, we are here to deliver you another episode of Game Day Squad's Aussie Rule show. This is for round 17, and what we're going to be doing is looking at a player's performance from a fantasy perspective. I have a full team with me today. Kerm, Cal, are we ready to talk some footy and rip in?
The less said about the Suns, the better. Let's put it that way. I know Cal, he's a very happy man today. You can see the smile on him early. Let's just go past the Suns altogether. We'll talk about it hopefully next week.
No, we will be bringing up the Suns because we'll be bringing up Port Adelaide, guys. I've gone full kit today. We are getting into this. This is fantastic. I've always believed in Ken Hinkley. It's just fantastic being a Port fan at the moment.
Oh, God.
I don't know about you guys, but footy is fantastic.
Turn it up.
Yeah, mate. Especially when you're kicking goals from 15 metres out, Hickey? How bloody good. But let's move on because I don't want to talk about that game either because that was some corruption if I've ever seen it. And it wasn't even from anyone else. It was internal corruption. Let's move on. We're not going to talk about it anymore. I want to get into our own team reviews. Cal, mate, this week you had a pretty good week from what I heard, especially on text. So why don't you break it down for me? What happened this week? What went well?
Almost the perfect week of footy for me. Port Adelaide getting the job done. Obviously, you can see my team there had a very good week. 2,527. I think they jumped the gun early. I told Tom I knew I'd beaten him from text messages and following along, which, as everyone knows, is my benchmark each week. But I think I jumped the gun early and said I was a lock for top 10 and multiple 9-player unique packs. Karma did get me back. You can see there I finished 21st, but I can live with that because Port's had a win. We're looking fantastic. My fantasy team's on the rise, 2 in a row against Tom. We'll get to the last segment shortly, I'm sure. I've just had a good week, so can't have it all right, but not many people let me down on the weekend, so it was tough to pick a dud for our studs and duds, but honestly could have picked a handful of people from my team there for stud of the week. So, yeah, really happy with my results. And you can see I finished 21st, which was ahead of you, Tom. Nice segue. How'd you go?
Mate, we did okay. Not fantastic, just okay. Unfortunately, there's been a bit of a theme, and it's either tunning it up or dudding it up on the squad. And this week, I just made some bad calls personally. I'm always going to stick with English gang. I don't care about the matchup. I don't care about all the other noise, what's going on. I'll stay true to my boys, to my crew. So I'm happy to take that L any week that it comes because it means that I'm part of English gang and I'm loyal. So irrespective of that.
Ask Kerm. You've got to ask Kerm where loyalty gets you. Just hashtag Suns.
I'm about done with that word. I am about done with that word. Loyalty means nothing to me anymore.
Didn't mean anything to Isaac Rankin either. Or Tom Lynch.
Exactly.
We go through the whole list.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. fellas, we definitely could, but let's leave him alone, Cal. We get it, mate, all right? You're up and about. You're going well, but no, we're talking about the Zeus Cannons right now, and I'm sure, like myself, everyone was feeling this way, but Taranto stinking it up on Thursday night, Dunkley getting subbed out on Thursday night, so it really felt like everyone had started on the back foot, but my defenders killed it this week. No complaints there. Midfielders other than Laird, I might get into him a little bit later, but I'm sick of spending a gold salary cap on him. There's going to be some moves there. He just isn't playing to the level I thought. I can't wait for Sicily to get back and honestly to join that defending crew. Tim English, already touched on him. And the forwards this week were a bit rough, and Nick Martin might be seeing the bench as well. So, yeah, not a horrible week, just not fantastic. Competition is getting tight, so can't wait for the next one. Yeah, but that wraps up the Zeus Cannons this week. Ready to bounce back for next one. But Kermy, mate, let me know how you went this week.
Sad Kerm again this week. I know at the top of the show, Tom, you mentioned internal corruption, and that is what it feels like. I've been a big fan of Thursday night footy, but from a fantasy perspective, nothing ever good comes from it. You mentioned Tim Taranto and you mentioned Josh Dunkley with your segment there, but man, Thursday night footy is just killing me week after week from a fantasy perspective, and it just ruins my mood throughout the whole weekend. Like, once you get some duds fall your way, on Thursday night. You're just in a foul mood all week and you don't want to keep on top of it. But in terms of positives, we can pick a couple out. Sam Doherty's back to Sam Doherty's best. I was very happy with my midfield. Andy Brayshaw, Tom Green, Lachie Neale has been absolutely outstanding for the Brisbane Lions, and he faces the West Coast Eagles this week, which is just a tasty matchup. My ruckman I can't really figure out, and my forward line, I mean, we mentioned it, Tim Taranto, Josh Dunkley, Nick Martin, all stunk it up in a big way. If it wasn't for Zach Butters, Rosie, and Cornelio, I would be in a bad way. But you can see their round 16 score of 3,006 points, which was only good enough for a 17th round ranking, which is good enough to keep me in second for the moment, but man, the guys below me are pushing, so I have to turn my form around and get back into those top 10 finishes to keep that buffer, and hopefully catch first.
I don't like how you say only 17th, because only 17th hurts me, particularly when myself and Tom are just trying to get in the top 20 every week, and you're like, oh yeah, 17th, nah, bad week. Infuriating, particularly after, I said I was a lock for top 10. Tom was also pretty confident that he was going to get packs as well, so a little bit devastated when that update came in on Sunday night. Losing track of days already, and we're on Monday.
I don't mean it in like a backhanded, patronising way, but it's just from my own personal perspective, I should be finishing top 10 weekly, and these past few weeks and over the bye rounds, it's just hasn't been going my way, so I'm looking for a change of fortune.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good segue into the people who can finish in the top 10. Let's pull up the leaderboards for this past round. And in the capped competition, 2,652 points would get you the win this week. And in our champion one, it was 3,261. 2 fantastic weeks. But to be honest, I was expecting this. We've just come off the bye rounds. All players are in play now, all in action. So you knew it was going to be buff, some of these scores, and they delivered. They delivered on that promise.
Some big scores, man. Big scores.
Definitely. Once again, another week where none of us feature. One of us will get there, boys. This is the week. I can feel it.
Yes.
Do you know who's going to help you get there? Connor Rosie, guys. He is my stud for the week. Check out this guy. Not only did he help the Power with a fantastic win against the Bombers on Saturday night, 185 fantasy points, if you don't mind. How did he do it? Well, he did everything. Kicked goals, he got touches, and for a guy that doesn't have a lot of size behind him, the thing that stood out to me were those 9 tackles. He doesn't mind winning the contested footy. He doesn't mind laying a hug to the opposition, which just takes his game to the next level, because he's always been a good outside player, but that's why he's in such good form at the moment. That's why he's my stud. And I know he definitely helped your teams as well. Unfortunately, though, Tom, your boy, Jakey Lloyd, let me down. And he just hasn't been the boy we thought he would be. We do know he was on that sort of edge. It was going to drop off eventually. We've seen it happen with defenders. We saw it happen with Rich. We've seen it happen with Zeeble, although Zeeble's weirdly coming back again. Lloyd seems to have hit that point where now you're just wondering, is he ever going to get back to Jake Lloyd form? And I think at the moment the answer is no. So I'm really going to be seeing, does he have a spot for me in the team? Because if Sicily was playing and he wasn't suspended, he wouldn't have a spot. So yeah, he's falling out of favour with a lot of coaches, and you can see why with those stats. So he is my dud for the round.
It's for fantasy coaches that he's falling out with, but you got to wonder whether he's falling out with Horse, because you see the likes of... You think about the Sydney backline at the moment, you think Nick Blakey, you think Errol Goulden's playing some footy down the back there, and you got to wonder where Jake Lloyd fits in, because Nick Blakey this year has absolutely killed it off halfback with his run and his kicking ability. And if you've got Errol Goulden back there, you've got one of the best users by foot in the league starting off halfback for you. So you got to wonder where Jake Lloyd's going to fit in, and he's just too risky at the moment for fantasy coaches, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's a really good point. And he's having a similar year to Mitch Duncan. Trying to get that in before, but he's premier player last year. This year just isn't finding his rhythm. But that's okay, because you can't be on top forever. But speaking of being on top forever, this kid might actually be, and it's Nick Dacos, and he's going to be my stud of the round. And Kerm, I know this is going to hurt because he did versus his Suns, but as he spoke about with Rosie, Dacos had such a similar game. He contributed in every single way possible, with the biggest thing that stood out to me is 10 tackles. Double-digit tackles in his box score for that one, which you know how much that helps with your fantasy buffer. Finished with 171 fantasy points without even a multiplier. And he had 19 handballs. So you got to think about if his kick to handball ratio is a little bit more in favour of the kicks, that could have been a 200 bomb. Very, very easy. So what a fantastic game for Dacos. I'll quickly flick it over to my dud of the round. I mentioned him before, but Rory Laird, mate, you were last year's fantasy MVP. I'm speaking to the camera because I'm talking to him directly. I have so much love for you. What are you doing this year, mate? If I see double digits on scores, that is just not good enough. 97 fantasy points in the last outing. And to be fair, I don't think it's completely his fault. It's because there's this stud called Jordan Dawson who's sharing midfield time and minutes with him. And he's just getting his hands on the pill at every single stoppage. So it's tough. I get it, but he just needs to get tackled more, get back to his old ways, and maybe can warrant starting him again. But he's my dud of the round. Kermy, I want to hear your ones, mate. Studs and duds, take me through.
Yeah, I loved yours. And going into mine, I'm going to start with a little bit of a point of difference for my stud, and it's Liam Henry, who has... Yeah, early on in the season, after the first 4 rounds, he actually had to drop back to the waffle and has had to bide his time down there and work his way back into the senior team. But since coming back into round 13, into the senior side in round 13, he's played more of a deeper wing role, almost a half-back, not quite hybrid winger role, and he's really relished it. He's gone over 120 GDS fantasy points 2 weeks in a row now. And he's just a name to watch over these last few weeks. I mean, we saw my forward line. We had Tim Taranto, dud. We had Josh Dunkley, dud. We had Nick Martin, dud. So Liam Henry, these types of point of difference players might be able to win you some weeks because he went 136 on the weekend with 19 kicks, 14 handballs, 6 marks, and 3 tackles to go with it. So that's a very, very handy stat line from a wingman. We know that wingmen are up and down in fantasy. You only got to look at the likes of, Blake Acres, Lockie Hunter, those types that have been wingmen and fantasy relevant for a long time. Liam Henry, if he can pick up this role and keep these scores up, he might be a sneaky point of difference option for the second half of the year and beyond because he's only still young.
21.
A very, very tantalising 21. So there's a dynasty prospect that might be flying under the radar, and if you can pick him up on the transfer market, that is a very, very good option. And my dud this week. Now, this one... I was very, very close to starting Darcy Cameron, and I lost my Diamond Rowan Marshall card. And every coach has their price. I got an offer that I could not refuse, and I had to part ways with my Rowan Marshall card, which means I'm stuck with either Toby Nankervis and Darcy Cameron for the moment.
Bombshell!
Darcy,
Wow!
What?
Hey!
How's the first we're hearing about this?
I know. I dropping it on the show, like dropping it for the listeners. You got to be upfront with the listeners. I sold my Rowan Marshall
Tom's
card.
a bad influence on you. No,
I don't have a Team English either, so I'm stuck with Toby Nankervis and I'm stuck with Darcy Cameron week to week head to head matchups. And I'm so glad that Darcy Cameron was on my bench. He was stinky. 68 GDS fantasy points, 5 kicks, 9 handballs, 1 mark, 0 tackles. And arguably the most worrying stat there is the 1 goal. Because usually you look at 1 goals, you think their score's going to be propped up. He's been spending a lot more time forward than I thought he would be, with Cox obviously in the fray. But 68 points with a goal is not the type of recipe you want because, man, Darcy Cameron is the type of guy we thought would be going 115, 120 on a semi-consistent basis, at least, being below the tier of Tim English and the aforementioned Rowan Marshall. So those are my studs and duds for round 16.
Yes, all I hear is another dub for English game. Can you hear that?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Can we circle back to that? What did you get for it? Because I'm still in shock. I have no idea what you said about Cameron because I'm still on your point about selling Marshall. What'd you sell him for?
Do you want me to disclose the fee? Do you want me
Just
to disclose
the transfer fee?
The transfer fee was $250 on the nose.
Wow.
Yeah. So I thought to myself, you know what?
Price.
That is a fee I
price
can't
for
pass
him,
up for Rowan Marshall. He was a low serial number. I'm the kind of guy who likes a low serial number, so that was one of the hardest ways to part. But for now, I am back on the hunt for a Diamond Rowan Marshall card.
I'm going to say it because I was looking up Liam Henry cards and being like, what can a gold Liam Henry go for? $2. I'm like, that's a pretty good steal. You know what's a better steal? Rowan Marshall for $2.50. Wow.
Ooh.
Oh, wow. All right.
I took it and ran.
Took it and ran. Wow, I can't get past that. Tom, take it away.
Oh, mate, let's get into the next part of the show. And Kermie, you are straight back up, big fella. This is your favourite segment. It's my favourite segment. It's Pack of the Week. You know what to do, mate. Take her away.
Ruckman have been a very vocal point of this show so far, as you can tell from the last segment, and it doesn't stop here with the Ruckman. We have Frio Blood on the Discord submitting the Pack of the Week this week. And as you can see, a Diamond Tim English card. So Tom is loving it. This is we may as well call this the English episode.
He was calling corruption at the start. What about this? There's no way you've picked that pack as the pack. That was Tom. Tom's paid you under the table to have that as the pack that goes as Pack of the Week. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic pack, but come on.
Do not pass up that Tim English. Well, there's actually, I was going to say, there's not a lot surrounding this Tim English card. You got Fantasia, Kruger, Keith, Farah, they're not cards you're going to be starting week to week. But it looks like a 9-player common pack with a Diamond Tim English card. And that is just, when you pull a Diamond in a common pack regardless, that is an insane pack. But when it's Tim English, the number 1 ruckman in the game, top 10 scoring player in the game, no matter what your position is.
Say it again.
That is an insane pack. So, Frio Blood, well done to you. You have won our Pack of the Week. We will be in contact with you on the Discord. And as always, if you guys want to get... Sorry.
You good?
And as always, if you guys want to get involved, all you have to do is head to our Discord channel, go to the AFL channel, and under the sub-channel, if I can say channel one more time, you will see pack openings. All you have to do is take a screenshot of your pack openings, and I will select a winner each and every week. So it's really easy, just a screenshot, put it in Discord, I'll pick a winner. The criteria this week is I want to see the best older players. We've spoken a lot about Dynasty players as of late. I want to give some of the older players some love. If you can get your older players, no matter what the rarity is, I'll go in and pick for next Monday's show. So again, congratulations to you, Frio Blood. That is an insane card, and hopefully you get another one with your rewards packs.
This is just getting too easy now. I don't even need to represent English gang. Everyone's doing it for me. Let's go! Cal's sitting there, I can see.
To be fair.
He's salty. He knows he loves Rowan Marshall. He's not happy with the outcome of this. But, mate, I didn't set any of this up. It just comes. This is what happens when you're greatness. People will start respecting your greatness, and that's Tim English. Just got to respect the man.
I believe it. I definitely believe that's how it happened. If you guys think I'm looking a bit green here, I am. Making me sick. But bit of a preview for something else we're doing. Make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel because we've got some fun stuff myself and Tom were just doing. So we are using this green screen. Tom, since our last recording, has turned around quickly. I don't know how you've got changed your setup so quickly, Tom, but make sure you are following along. We've got some good stuff coming out. Guys, I'll flick on to Lock of the Round. I told you it was a good round for me. Very good round for me here because I went bang again. I haven't quite catched you there, Tom, but Dawson had an awesome day, and myself and Kerm were on that Dawson train. He easily smashed it. I was a little bit worried. Tom, you messaged me at halftime. You were out at a wedding, and you said, what's happened to Dawson? I think the app had him as injured. Don't worry, mate. He was absolutely fine. Nothing to worry about. He's got the job done. He's got the job done for you, Kerm. But, Tom, you missed this week. Talk us through it.
Ooh. I did. Firstly, I don't know why you're celebrating because all I can see you is underneath me on the leaderboard. I still have my crown. It's nice and comfy. And, if you guess a little bit higher in some weeks, maybe you would be in front. But you want to play it soft like you do, and this is what happens, mate. You got to take the L's when they come. But for me this week, I took an L, unfortunately, and I went to a brother Tom of mine. I trusted in the name, Tommy Green. He had a fantastic start. Like, I was watching the game, to be fair, and in the first quarter, I think he finished with about 70 GameDay Squad fantasy points. And I was sitting there like, he's going to have this by half time, mate. Don't worry about having 128 for full time. This guy's going to get it by half. And I don't know what happened from that point, but he came back to earth. He proved that he was only human and he's not the alien species that we thought he was because he is such a jet. But it's just unfortunate. Couldn't get to 128. Very little involvement from quarter time onwards. Still had a ripper game, 38 disposals. It's just 28 handballs. Mate, get the ball on the boot for me, and I would have easily got it. 28 handballs and like one kick. Please help a brother out next time. But much love for you, Tom Green. Just wasn't it this week.
Hang on a second. I'm just doing the ones and twos below this, behind the scenes here, and I've scrolled onwards a slide to Cal's lock of the round screen. And I see you have gone Dawson in the past, Callum, in round 6.
Have I?
Scandalous. What has gone on here?
Yes! Those points are automatically by the rule, they have to be deducted. They have to.
This is the first time this has happened on the show. I was just doing my due diligence, looking at the locks of the rounds behind the scenes, and Callum has gone Dawson in the past in 2023.
Yeah.
No!
Don't say no. Yes, Cam.
First of all, it is impossible to have a meltdown while we're 12 in a row. Nothing can bring me down, just for the record. Number 2, we're going to have to investigate that. I reckon someone's done a bit of fraud and got in there and changed it. So, not saying... I
don't think there's much of an investigation here.
Callum, mate. People like this segment, but no one cares about it enough to go in and stitch you up like that. You have written that in yourself. You know it. Don't you start. Oh, bro. You know the funny thing is this week I was going to pick Jordan Dawson because of his form, but I actually looked at my prior players I picked and saw that I picked him before. So that is bloody hilarious, Cal. Any words to say there, mate? You've tried to cheat to get your way back on top and you've been caught out. What is going on, mate?
Look, the match review panel will go and check the tape. We'll go back and look at the footage from earlier on in the season just to double check. But I mean, 115 for a player like Jordan Dawson is definitely something up your alley, Callum.
Yeah,
It
doesn't look good. Doesn't look good, does it? But he's just such a good player. I'd pick him again this week if I could, but I've been sprung.
Absolutely. I don't blame you there.
And I'm bringing onto the slide that's causing all the chaos there. You can see clear as day 2 Dawsons in there. Maybe they're different players. Didn't there used to be a Dawson that played for?
Oh, is Zach Dawson coming back from Freo or something?
Maybe.
Like
So let's go watch the tape. But we'll move on. Everyone's had enough of hearing about this. I'm going Lockie Neal this week, and I know I copied you with Dawson last week.
Choice.
Alleged. But you said it before, Kerm. He's just got such a good matchup this week. I can't not pick him. I wanted someone from that Brisbane midfield. He's going to go huge. But, you know me. I just like it 120. That's fine. That's all I need. I'm triple checking here. I definitely can't see any Lockie Neals, so I'm not going to, 7 days' time, have this taken away from me. But I've also noticed my little asterisk for my LDU pick, which never got picked on the last screen, has mysteriously disappeared as well. So, yeah, some funky things are happening on this screen. Stay tuned. But
vouch for that. I've taken it away because, look, at the start of the season, I resented with you. I thought, you know what? He's right. He got stitched up. But you're doing this to yourself at this point. So I don't want to see any asterisks. You are criminally just ruining your own chances at this. So I don't want any other further excuse other than to you to look internally and say, this is on me. This is my fault. I haven't been good enough. Just like I had to do last year and get smashed by you guys. It's time for you to pull your finger out, Matt. That's all I'm saying.
This is just unbelievable. We need to regain. Tom, who are you going this week?
Unbelievable scenes, and I'm looking to bounce back. And I thought, things were worse than what they were, but after this news, my lead is just a little bit safer. But I'm going to go with a player from the same team as last week. I had a look at the matchups. I love some midfielders when they verse the Saints, Kerm. We spoke about this before,
yes.
And Stephen Canelio is lined up to verse St Kilda this week, and it's going to be a nice, free-flowing game where I see him scoring at least 122 fantasy points. He's had a bit of an up and down season. I've been a little bit off his form, but after last week and a solid outing, I think he comes back and goes bang, bang with 2 goodies in a row. So excited for what Cogs can do this week. But now it's on to you, Kerm. Who are you going with? How many points? What's the strategy, mate?
Definitely similar thoughts to you guys. I really wanted to pick a Brisbane player as well. I have picked Neil before. So I'm not going to do a Callum and pick him again. I really wanted to go Will Ashcroft because it's at the Gabba and we know what his form is like.
I'll let you if you let me.
No deal. I did want to go the Prince of Wollongabba this week, but it's just the way that West Coast played last week, especially down back, was actually quite good, and it scared me a little bit. I definitely still like the pick that you made, Callum, of Lockie Neal this week against that midfield, but Will Ashcroft I thought was still a little bit green and risky this week. So I've gone a GWS player as well with Harry Himmelberg, who's coming off his best game of 2023 with 117 GDS fantasy points. I've gone 115. He's playing down back. I like the matchup, as he said, Tom, against the Saints. They are leaking points at the moment for fantasy teams, and hopefully Himmelberg can get that 115, and we can maybe I can extend that lead on Callum now.
Yeah, and do you know the best thing about Himmelberg is what I watched on the weekend is he's taking the kick-ins now, and quite a lot of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you play on and take those kick-ins, that's an extra 4 points per. So that's just that extra buffer on top of all the good work he already does. So I love the pick. He's in ripper form, and he's a player that people should be targeting, putting in their starting lineups now, because that role, I know how big you were on it early when you found out who's going to go back down. Who's going to go down back, and play there, Kerm, and now you were spot on. You're reaping the rewards.
Yeah, I've been wanting to lock this in for a little while, and I think against this matchup, it's now or never for me. So, yeah, as you say, hopefully you can keep up this roll and form for a few more rounds at least.
Absolutely, and that is going to wrap us up for another episode of Game Day Squad's Aussie Rules Show. This is for round 17. You can guarantee there will be an investigation into our lock of the round, and maybe on Thursday on the live stream, we can inform you all of the results from the court of law. But other than that, thank you so much for checking in and tuning in for another episode. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new around here. As Callum mentioned before, you can see the green screen behind him. We have so much new and cool content coming out that you don't want to miss, so sub right now to make sure you don't. But we'll catch you in the next one, and we'll see you on the live stream on Thursday. Peace out.